the devil's money.
What's the plan here?
Gotta blow! Yeah, well, I'm just getting started.
Landman. All episodes now streaming only on Paramount Plus.
Well, things are heating up, that's for sure. We found this opportunity and we're working for it.
My man.
Tulsa King. All episodes now streaming only on Paramount Plus.
You need a hug?
You need a fist?
Crutch, crutch, crutch.
Crutch, crutch.
Crutch, you need anything. I do have one question. We didn't mean right now.
Being a cadet in Starfleet Academy means being open to the people around you.
I've spent my whole life getting away from stuff, letting someone in. That's hard.
I want to be captain. I need to be captain.
I owe you something. It is coming just for you.
Good morning and happy Monday, everyone. We're 5 days into the World Cup. Half the teams have kicked off their campaigns and we have much more football to come today. So with that, welcome into Morning Footy, 48 Nations. I'm your host, Hannah Cash, alongside Jimmy Conrad, Tony Miola and JD Dyer. Boys, how are we 5 days into the tournament now? We enjoyed it?
Of course. Games on games on games on games, though. I don't actually know who's playing and who just played. It's just a lot of good goals. No, I'm kidding. But I've been excited about what we've seen. Some great narratives and storylines, some great performances as well. And I'm excited for more of it today.
Yeah, this has been for a soccer junkie like us or like me. I just stay up all night and watch games, and I've been waiting for this, Hannah, for 8 years, right? And now it's finally here. You were asking me before if I watched the hockey. I'm like, no, what is hockey right now? I have no idea what it is right now because this is just, not that I don't like it, but I'm just consuming my days, man.
I can't believe you're not locked into the Stanley Cup, Tony.
No.
JD, how are you?
The best thing that happened was that the Knicks finished in 5, because now everyone, the whole world can recognise that the focus needs to be on the football. It has been on the football for us as junkies since the beginning, and we're just seeing the celebration. The culture's coming together, the football is definitely showing out. And as much as the club news are trying their best with transfers and managerial appointments to kind of steal the headlines, I think the World Cup is definitely centre stage right now.
Yeah, we're all definitely locked in. Jimmy, you're so locked in, you're even trying to wear World Cup clothes in your outfits every day.
Giving a shout out to my R9, my R9 socks. You know when you had that famous hair in 2002?
I like
Amazing.
I like it.
Where'd you get them from?
Saturday's Football. Shout out to them for making these. There's another pair I have. It was Roberto Baggio pulling away with his hand up. Amazing. I'll get you some of those. Are you Baggio? Would you wear them?
You were about to say, am I a Baggio fan?
No.
You have to remix that question. You have to remix that question.
Sorry. He's wearing the Juve jersey, so you're a Milan fan.
I'm a Baggio fan, yeah.
Okay, all right.
Baggio.
I'll get him a pair.
Have you got a new outfit for the US game, or are you going to stick
I'm wearing the
with what
same
you got?
one. We won 4-1. We played incredible. So I've got to wear the same stuff.
Bit of superstition there.
Yeah, you got to do it.
Are you going to wash it? You are in a hotel.
Debatable.
You are in a hotel.
They have washing machines in
Are you asking about his laundry routine right now?
No. All right then, everybody. We've got a whole Morning Footy show ahead of us, so why don't we take you around the grounds to show you what we're going to be talking about today. Even though Italy won't be at the World Cup this summer, there's plenty happening on the club front, with AC Milan reportedly closing in on a deal to make Ruben Amorim their next head coach. Japan drew 2-2 with the Netherlands yesterday, thanks to Daichi Kamada scoring in the 89th minute, which goes down as the latest ever World Cup goal for the Samurai Blue. Sweden beat Tunisia 5-1. Victor Gyökeres and Alexander Isak both scoring in what was Sweden's highest scoring game since 1938. And in the early game yesterday, four-time winners Germany put 7 goals past debutant Curaçao. And here is what head coach Julian Nagelsmann had to say after the game.
We tried to find our lucky moments in the offense, tried to score more goals, and then we had a very important set piece to get the lead again. And then I think after the game there was a song, "The Train Has No Brakes." It's a German song. And we tried to do that, to move on, like with no brakes, and it was at least not that bad.
No breaks for Germany, apparently. Everybody, we are on YouTube today, so do let us know in the comments. The question we're posing to the viewers today is 48 teams in the World Cup. too many. So that's obviously the new expanded format in this going into this summer's World Cup. With this Germany game, though, boys, do we think the expanded format yesterday showed that it was a good thing or a bad thing with Germany versus Curacao?
Hannah, I'll go first.
All right.
I'll say that Germany has a history of big 7-1 results in a World Cup. I was there actually in Brazil in 2014 when they beat the Brazilians in the semifinals. So that is an argument against it. Like, the expansion doesn't really matter one way or the other. Sometimes there's just these types of results. Now, of course, you're getting a lot of debutantes that are going to come in. They're just excited to be there, and the win was them qualifying for the World Cup. However, we've seen this 7-1 before, and Brazil suffered from it, in 12 years ago. So, yeah, I mean, ultimately, I don't know. Tones, you had a good point that I actually really enjoyed about this expansion.
First off, I love it, right? I love that more people are at the party. I love that we see more fan bases. I love that part of it, right? I expected there would be some lopsided results, but we've had multiple World Cups without these teams that have had lopsided results. I look at the women's side, right? And for years, we saw so many lopsided results. But when is women's football any closer in depth of teams than we have right now, right? That's because we let teams in the World Cup. They allowed more teams to come to the World Cup, and all of a sudden you get experience playing in the World Cup. Heck, the U.S. lost 5-0, or we lost 5-1, I'm sorry, against Czechoslovakia in our first game after not being in the World Cup for 40 years, right? Does that mean we shouldn't be in the World Cup anymore? Now we've proven over time, right, that you can compete with teams. I'm not one of those guys that complains about a few more teams in the World Cup.
I just always think it's interesting. We call it the World Cup, but then we want to seclude it for just certain teams in terms of its inclusion. How do you determine who's valued or who's not in terms of in this competition? The competition is deeper than just what occurs, because realistically, Hannah, when we've gone through history, only a certain number of teams have won it. So does that mean all the other teams are a disappointment? Does that mean every other team that's ever entered the competition has never got that far? That means that all of a sudden they shouldn't be invited back to the party. No, everybody gets an opportunity to showcase what they can do. And everybody's earned their right. Unless you're a host nation, you've earned your right through qualifying for your own region. So that really and truly what it should show is that maybe we should put some resources around the world if you're upset about the disparity in terms of this, because this will always be the world's game and the world gets an opportunity to enjoy it.
Yeah, and when that Curacao goal went in yesterday, I think
it's history. It's World Cup history.
Yeah,
they're here. They've arrived at the party. If you ask any Curacao fan right now what was their biggest moment in terms of sporting history right now, they'll probably turn around and talk about that one goal. They don't care about the fact they conceded 7. The pride in them is hurt, of course, because you lost. But that moment, that history, grabbing your friends, being around your friends, could you imagine what their section was like? That's something they'll tell their kids forever.
Also, when you think about when they scored, when they made it 1-1, it stayed there for about 12 minutes. And so for that 12 minutes, they're thinking, maybe today's the day. Maybe we got a chance. And they would never have a chance if they weren't included into the tournament, right? So that feeling is, it's impossible to replicate in qualifying or in just friendly games.
Yeah. Here is some notes on the largest World Cup win since 2000, the biggest one being 8-0 when Germany beat Saudi Arabia in 2002. We do have some comments on YouTube as well. Is 48 teams too many for the World Cup? A lot of people were saying, no, we want 64 teams.
Well, they're going to get it probably in the near future, so those people will get their wishes, I think, no doubt about it. I love...
Is that because Italy can then finally qualify? Too soon?
Hey,
next segment, Jimmy. No, but I mean, that's where we're going to. Jimmy could have fun at Italy's expense here, but yeah, I think eventually, could you possibly substitute like a European team for a team like Curacao? I suppose you could do that, but man, I love the flavor of the fans yesterday and seeing the scenes on the streets. We wouldn't get any of that. And that's why I'm with JD. More people to the party for me is fun. Are you going to have some of these? Yeah, but again, we've had these. You saw, by the way, Germany was involved in a lot of these games. 3 of those 5, right?
So all gas, no brakes.
Yeah, so there are other things about the World Cup I'd rather get rid of than the 48 teams.
And I also will say, in watching that game, as much as the scoreline, especially in the second half, definitely Germany pulled themselves away with their class. But if you watch that first 45 minutes, there was chances for both teams. It was genuinely an open game of football. I think what happened was the experience of some of the German players and probably a team talk at halftime kind of calmed everything down. But genuinely throughout that game, I think that was one of the most exciting games I'd seen in terms of the first 45 minutes because I could see how it was shaping up. Germany dominating possession, pushing this team back as they do with pretty much anybody they play against. And Curacao trying to time them on the break and utilising their counterattacks. Because what else are they supposed to do in those situations? They're up against the better individuals, probably the better team, more experienced team. You've got to utilise your strengths. Now, man management is something they'll take away from that situation and probably come into the next game a little bit better. But the experience of playing against those quality, they will live for that for a lifetime.
Yeah, we saw Nagelsmann there, so they're playing without breaks. Do you think that's a sign of things to come throughout the rest of the tournament, Jimmy?
Yes, they have a tough group. So you got Ivory Coast next, and then they play Ecuador. Ivory Coast, obviously, against Ecuador last night was an excellent game, and they hit, I don't know how many crossbars in that game. So that could have been a 3-2, 4-3 game. They're going to find a stiffer test there, and I wonder, given the confidence that Ivory Coast has coming now out of a big 3 points, what do they do there? And knowing, too, from Ivory Coast's perspective, we got Curacao last, so we're most likely going to win that game. So I'm kind of curious as to how they approach the second one. But yes, so much talent there. And I don't know if Germany's going to be able to ramp it up. It felt like everybody was trying to score a goal there at the end as Curacao just kind of ran out of steam ultimately.
Yeah. Should we talk about the next game then? So we had Ivory Coast beating Ecuador 1-0. It was the first World Cup win for Ivory Coast over a South American team. We did have Mbizo on one of our shows last night, and he said it's a great idea for Diallo and Diomande to play against each other. Do we agree with that?
Yeah, they got to find a way maybe to get them on the field at the same time. I think that's probably the mission. For me, one of the more entertaining games. You have an Ecuadorian side that was the best, only gave defensively in CONMEBOL qualifying, only gave up 5 goals. So you knew it was going to be stingy, although I thought it didn't affect the Ivory Coast. Their counterattack was incredible. Their skill on the ball was exceptional. I think Ecuador ran out of ideas at moments, but then also had opportunities in the second half. I sat with Marcelo Balboa at a local restaurant here, and it was just so much fun just to be a fan and see both fan bases in Stamford, Connecticut, like having fun with each other, right? And this is what the World Cup's about. But this Ivory Coast team, man, when they put their foot on the pedal and when they go with speed and the technical ability that they have in this group, they were fun to watch last night. I hadn't seen them in quite some time. I didn't watch any of their lead-up games coming into this. But, man, I'll tell you what, they showed me something last night against the CONMEBOL side that coming into this had really high expectations.
Yeah, Diomande as well, 19 years old. So many people's young player to watch going into this tournament, being linked with big names like PSG and Liverpool. JD, you think he's living up to expectation?
At game one, I'm always going to be like, relax on a 19-year-old. But what I will say is I saw the reasons as to why those clubs are definitely linked with him. I think his brilliance, you know what it is as well, when I have wingers like him that are an absolute nightmare. And Jimmy, you understand this. When they can turn over both shoulders in terms of want to go inside and outside, it gives defenders a lot to think about just in those situations, because you want to almost within the first 5 minutes kind of feel a player out and see what their preference is to do. But if you watch him, especially from his heat map, he could go inside and out. And that is really, I think, what's going to be another level as to why he's such an effective player. What I also liked as well, when Ahmed came on, I didn't see the typical shrug of the shoulders or the sulking behaviour or whatever else when you're expected to be a star player in those situations. The finish was actually a lot better than people are giving him credit for. Because it's coming across his body, to hit that first time into the corner is no easy feat. So I actually loved what I saw from the Ivorians yesterday. And that win is actually a lot bigger than people are recognising. Because looking at the group, looking the way it's shaping up, and obviously, you know, the dominance you expect from terms of the favourites in the group, that win now gives them a massive credence that they could create history in their own rights in qualifying for the knockout stages.
I do want to give a moment for Ecuador. I thought they were excellent in the first half in particular. They hit, I think, every post. They hit the crossbar. I think they hit one of those. They hit like the woodwork 3 times. They had done enough and to get a result in that game. So they're going to feel pretty hard done by at the end. And their manager, Sebastian Bekacheche, was very adamant that it was an unjust result and that his team deserved more. That's the first time they've lost in 2 years or something crazy. So
17-match unbeaten streak.
It's pretty ridiculous. And so they are in an interesting situation because they'll have Curacao next. That should be a win, and then they're going to play the Germans last, and they're probably going to need a result to make sure they solidify that third-place spot. However, the goal difference becomes very important. So if they can run up the score against Curacao, that could help them as it gets closer, if they end up finishing third, to being one of the top 8 teams.
In world football, in those 17 matches were in competitive matches, right? Which makes it, for me, even more impressive, right? Because those are matches when things are on the line, right? They're not friendlies. There's a stake at the end of all of these. But they still, you can see, still a very organized side. They take pride in defending Ecuador. They take pride in not giving up goals. It's a 1-0 game, right, which could happen to anybody. But for me, it was thoroughly entertaining. If you're like one of those tactical guys like I am that likes to put the pieces on the board and move guys around and then see what managers do to make a change, last night was a great game to watch because there were multiple changes in that second half with what guys did, not only personnel-wise, but what they did tactically. But you just want to be entertained by a 1-0 game. Of course, we all love goals, right? But that's an entertaining 1-0 game for me.
Yeah. So that was all the action happening yesterday in the World Cup in Group E. We are going to be taking a quick break here on Morning Footy 48 Nations. We've got so much more coming up on the other side, everybody.
At the start of every year, I find myself wondering again, constantly questioning life's mysteries. Could I make it in the UFC octagon?
When Jeff Probst asks survivors, ready?
Do they ever want to say no? Has Dexter ever considered meditation? Will Beth and Rip make it last on the new series Dutton Ranch? If not, Rip, call me. Stream new series and returning favorites, plus huge events. It's going to be the biggest year yet.
Welcome to the Running Man. The rules are simple. Survive 30 days. But the entire nation is hunting you down.
The grand prize, $1 billion.
Win this game. Change your family's life forever.
Hunt him down!
People will sell you out in a heartbeat.
What is happening?
Welcome to the Running Man.
I'm back. I'm really back.
Why am I here? I'm not dead, right?
Disruption on this campus will not be tolerated.
If I look crazy, it's because that's how I feel. I don't know how to live in 2 worlds.
There are others. But they're not like us. We need to get out of here now. Open your eyes.
Paramount Plus has a mountain of movies. Wow. New movies. Timeless movies. Guys who are running out of time movies. So get in on the latest blockbusters.
Trust me.
And relive the moments that get you every time.
And that's all I have to say about that.
A mountain of movies, now streaming on Paramount Plus.
This is European soccer's biggest stage.
Written in the stars! What a difference she has made!
The question is, can you handle it?
Can you handle it?
The crowd here feels electric. Stream every match of the UEFA Women's Champions League on Paramount Plus.
I lost my dad in my camp.
What aren't you telling me?
I'll never know what you've gone through, but I'm sure your dad will want you to be happy.
I will not lose the company that my husband started. I want success. Get it for me.
This business will bleed you dry.
Dad, I'm playing on the house's money now.
No, you're playing with the devil's money.
What's the plan here?
Gotta blow!
Yeah, well, I'm just getting started.
Landman. All episodes now streaming only on Paramount Plus.
Welcome back to Morning Footy 48 Nations. These were the scenes yesterday ahead of Japan's game versus the Netherlands in Dallas. A Japanese fan being thrown in the air in the middle of a Dutch fan party. And he's got a little Pikachu in his hand. I mean, great scenes in Dallas. I think this is what we all keep saying, what fans are all about this World Cup, boys.
That was Big Tones back in '94. They were throwing up like that.
Might take a few more people.
Okay, then, everybody, we're going to be talking now about Group F. So yesterday, Japan drew with the Netherlands 2-2.
What a game.
They kicked off yesterday in Houston, and after a cagey first half, the second half resulted in one of the matches of the tournament so far. Virgil van Dijk's opener was cancelled out just 7 minutes later by Kito Nakamakura. Then Crescencio Somerville scored just minutes later, but pressure from Japan finally broke through in the 88th minute after a header deflected off Daichi Kamada. Then the late match last night was all Sweden. Yasin Ayari started things with a thunderous strike in the 7th minute, and Graham Potter's side didn't let their foot off the gas. Goals from Alexander Isak, Victor Gyökeres, Matthias Svanberg, and one more from Ayari gave the Swedes a statement win to open the tournament despite a difficult qualifying journey. So this Group F is quite a difficult group, isn't it, boys? We've got Sweden, Japan, Netherlands and Tunisia. Sweden sit at the top with 3 points, Japan on 1 point, as well as the Netherlands. Tunisia at the bottom with 0 points. So the Sweden side features 2 big-name strikers in the Premier League, Isak and Gyökeres, both of them finding the back of the net yesterday, of course. And here's what Isak had to say on their partnership.
We have quite different qualities that is very beneficial for the team and for the kind of the different types of attacks we can bring. So it worked really well today.
OK, then, everybody, time for our Player Select presented by Nintendo Switch 2. Let's focus on these 2 players, Gyökeres and Isak. I think going into the World Cup, we had low expectations for Sweden, didn't we, just because they didn't do too well in qualifying. Have we kind of forgotten the power of those front 2, some of the biggest stars in the Premier League?
Yeah, no question. I think what's interesting is that through 6 World Cup qualifying games for Sweden, they scored 4 goals. And last night in 1 World Cup game, they scored 5, which then speaks to kind of the power of these 2 guys in particular. There's obviously been a trend over the years of just, hey, if we have strikers, 2 really good strikers, we're just going to play with 1 and have wingers, right? We'll play with a 4-3-3. Graham Potter made the decision, I'm going with 2 strikers. It's kind of old school in some ways to roll out 2 strikers. And obviously, it played to great effect. And I wonder now, as they move through the group and into the knockout rounds, how you defend these 2, especially as they get going, because they not only got their goals, but they also are looking for each other and looking for that combination, which I think makes them very dangerous.
I think when you just look at the 2 profiles of the 2 strikers, they actually really complement each other. I'm so happy you're throwing it back, Jimmy, to things that we kind of grew up with in the 90s and the turn into terms of 2000, where 2 strikers up front was very common. But what you realise in terms of the profile of those 2 strikers is they were going to complement each other's game, whereas Victor wants to lead the line, he wants to be on the last shoulder, he wants to run in channels, he wants to show his physicality. And Alexander Isak can also do that, but what I love about Isak's game, if you watch him, he actually finds little pockets where he can be a free roaming, almost like a second striker in certain places. And I actually think it's unlocked something within him which I think gives him an element of freedom on the pitch. He can pull up on the left-hand side, he can do an overload on that side, he can come to a right-hand side where you can pull people into one-on-ones. I think the combination between those 2 allows Sweden to almost be a very dangerous threat, especially in the final third. Is whether or not they could keep the concentration going the other way is my only question mark. But if you're going to have that level of quality in the final third, you can always cause problems against anybody.
I think if you didn't know the profiles of those 2 guys, last night Isak was a winger for a majority of that game, right? I mean, he played. I mean, how many times? Again, we sat and watched that game. I was with Marcelo Balbo, and we were amazed how many times he had his heels on the touchline. Right, and he was combining with a left back. He's getting up and down, looking for Gyökeres. And then in the moments where Gyökeres goes and runs in the channel, you know you have a guy that can fill in as a 9, right? Because he's very comfortable there. So you mentioned the expectations of this Swedish side. The expectation was that Graham Potter wasn't going to play them together. Right, now he's found a way, and it looks like I hate taking away and say he stumbled on this in some way where he almost had to, because you have to make a decision at the end. You're a manager, right, and you're responsible for all of these things. But if he didn't stumble on it, he's figured out a formula that I think makes it really difficult to defend for oppositions.
What do you think Graham Potter's unlocked in this Swedish side?
I think hunger. I think especially when I think about the 2 strikers we're speaking about, Victor Gyökeres came with the heavy price tag. Of course, he's now won a Premier League trophy, but there was a lot of pressure on his shoulders this year in terms of to lead that line, and Arsenal looking for this focal point to lead the... And Alexander Isak's coming into this tournament trying to remind the world that I'm still one of the best number 9s in world football. I mean, injuries has derailed a lot of his continuity with Liverpool this year. No 2 ways about it. So we talk about fresh legs, impact, especially now confidence if he has that in his body. He's going to come into this tournament fitness-wise probably feeling somewhere close to what is his maximum again. And especially he hasn't had the problems and the rigours on this for a whole 50-game season. He's probably coming in with a level of hunger. Now, Graham Potter has his own thing to prove because we already know at club level, he's had good moments and he's had bad moments. Now is an opportunity at national team level to really put yourself into the good graces of European football again and remind everybody on the world stage that I'm still one of the top young coaches around.
They still have to figure it out defensively because they've given up a goal in 11 straight games in all competitions or friendlies and everything included. So they got to get that side of it sorted out. But if and when they do, they're going to be really dangerous going forward. It kind of reminded me, actually, of the U.S.-Paraguay game, where all of a sudden, once they got some momentum, Tunisia had no answers for what they were going to do. They had plenty of time and space to combine and connect, and there were a lot of similarities, I thought, in the feel of that particular game. What's interesting about this team is that Victor Lindelof is the only player that has World Cup experience. They didn't qualify in 2022. He was the lone member of the 2018 team. And so he's actually, Graham Potter, having to figure out a way to galvanize the team. And when you have a dream start like this one, that's going to bode well for them.
Yeah. A little fact here, Graham Potter, obviously former Chelsea manager, 8.3% of the managers in the World Cup have been sacked by Chelsea. He's one of them.
That doesn't shock anybody.
That doesn't shock anybody. I think we're going to be discussing some breaking news, some reports that's going around the world of football at the moment. And that's Tunisia reportedly about to sack Sabri Lamouchi.
Wow.
He's only been there since January of 2026. And I believe we're going out to Mbizo Zamane to talk. No, we're not going out to Mbizo.
Well, we can talk about it.
You guys talk about him. You are the experts as well.
Yeah.
I mean, what does this mean for Tunisia? Sacking a manager after their first game, is that any good? What's the decision behind that?
Clearly not good because it means the results haven't gone their way, right? You couple that, the loss with the 5-0 against Belgium in the last warm-up game, there's clearly something going on there. I just try to always look at this from a player standpoint, right? Like what you would be thinking at this point. You're down because you lost. It's the World Cup. You've been preparing for this forever, it seems like. Now your manager gets sacked, right? So there might be a moment where they get we were joking in the break about a managerial boost, right? Yeah, the bounce, the game. The World Cup. Is that a thing? I don't know. We're going to find out. But the players might be happy about this. We don't know what's going on in the dressing room, but certainly odd timing.
Yeah, what's the point in doing it after one game?
No, I think we talked about it before, where there had to be something happening before this game. And if they perform like that one more time, then they were going to sack him. I don't know. That's a pretty crazy decision. He's only been in charge since January. I guess they've had 5 coaches since they started World Cup qualifying in 2023. So they already felt like there's some uncertainty in the role. But once you come into a tournament, that has to be solidified, JD. I mean, you can't at that point, because again, what kind of message does that send to the players? Or are the players in charge and like, enough of this guy? Because they did capitulate at the end of that game. Like, Sweden were running all over them.
So there is precedence of this, especially when you think about the African region. I mean, Ivory Coast, of course, fired their manager in the middle of the AFCON and went on to do something that was quite special in that moment. Morocco, we know, have changed their head coach leading into this competition. And anyone would look at Morocco over the last 4 years and think that is an element of stability. You would think you want to carry that momentum from their superlatives they had in Qatar. But then this Tunisia decision, I think, when you think about the tenure, the shortness in terms of what he's had to lead this team, there has to be, and I will always defer to players here in these situations, but there has to be something that's rumbling within the changing room. This has to have been a conversation that had to have been had with the leadership group in terms of from the players, also above them as well, because you don't really want to cause disruption. What you don't want is headlines outside of your camp, around your camp. What you want is an element of just peace, because then you can put your best foot forward in terms of when you're performing in the competition. Whatever has occurred, we're not going to find out until after the tournament. All we need to worry about right now is the interim boss that's stepping in, who has a great experience, a great understanding in terms of in that changing room. That's got to be pinnacle number one. Who's going to lead the rest of this group? Because you still have a competition, minimum of 2 games to establish yourself. But all I would say is he probably never graced himself with any glory, because leading into this, the consecutive losses, the depth and the quality in which they lost as well. 5 goals in qualifiers is one thing, or friendlies is one thing, but now 5 goals in terms of in your opening game, or 4 goals is a real eye-opening situation for anybody. And they felt like I needed to make a change.
I'm trying to think of the timing of all this, right? You just played a game, and normally when you sack a manager and you have someone in mind, you've had a conversation with that guy for a little period of time, right? Whoever they bring in, what was, I think they've got somebody, but what are you doing at that time? You're probably sitting on a beach in, wherever, and you're watching the World Cup, and all of a sudden your phone rings, right? Because if they would have called this guy before the World Cup, what's the messaging, right? Hey, if we lose the first game, if we get hammered in the first game, you're in. You know, like, I don't understand the timing. None of it makes sense. It would make sense if somebody on that staff, maybe, or someone in the youth national team. And it sounds like they're going to bring someone who's been with the team before. But maybe, you know, you see a youth national team coach come in, and we've seen that throughout the World Cup, where guys get promoted. De La Fuente is one of those guys at Spain, right? He's probably the most famous guy right now. But, man, just think about, like, the logistics. Firing a guy and finding a guy in 6 days' time to manage your team at the World Cup.
Well, if you promote from within, you probably want to lean on a legend, right? That would be the easiest thing. If I was in a situation where I need to automatically command respect of my changing room again. Now, we're hearing that Khazri is one of the people that is potentially going to step into the interim. That's just the reports. If Khazri steps in, this is someone who's led the nation, scored, 20-plus goals in terms of the nation, has a reputation in terms of in Europe. I remember him playing for Sunderland and Rennes and a couple of other teams. So he's someone that's going to automatically come in, and those younger players that automatically, their chest is going to be leveled up because they're going to recognize, hey, this is someone that has been here, done it, and represented the nation that we're supposed to be sort of held in at this moment. Because what you don't want is the disruption and then disharmony. That's what you're trying to stop. Whatever it was that he was producing as a manager, the Federation made a decision, and now you want to add an element of calmness for the rest of this tournament at least.
More often than not, when a new manager comes in, they try to simplify things. And so they're going to have, thankfully, with an expanded tournament, they got a week between games. So that gives a new manager a little bit of time to work with the group. How do we solve this? They're going to need 4 points out of the remaining 6, most likely, to get into the knockout rounds. Unfortunately, they play Japan next, and then they play the Netherlands last. So they need to give themselves a chance in the next game. So at the minimum, they need to draw against Japan. After what I saw from Japan last night, good luck with that. Japan is good.
This has happened before for Tunisia. In 1998, they fired their head coach mid-tournament as well. So,
a little history. How did that work out?
Yeah, exactly. All right, then, everybody, time to take a quick break here on Morning Footy, 48 Nations. We've got much more coming up on the other side.
At the start of every year, I find myself wondering again, constantly questioning life's mysteries. Could I make it in the UFC octagon?
When Jeff Probst asks survivors, ready?
Do they ever want to say no? Has Dexter ever considered meditation? Will Beth and Rip make it last on the new series Dutton Ranch? If not, Rip, call me. Stream new series and returning favorites, plus huge events. It's going to be the biggest year yet.
Welcome to the Running Man. The rules are simple. Survive 30 days. But the entire nation is hunting you down.
The grand prize, $1 billion.
Win this game. Change your family's life forever.
Hunt him down!
People will sell you out in a heartbeat.
What is happening?
Welcome to the Running Man.
I'm back. I'm really back.
Why am I here? I'm not dead, right?
Disruption on this campus will not be tolerated.
If I look crazy, it's because that's how I feel. I don't know how to live in two worlds.
There are others, but they're not like us. We need to get out of here now. Open your eyes.
Paramount Plus has a mountain of movies. Wow. New movies. Timeless movies. Guys who are running out of time movies. So get in on the latest blockbusters.
Trust me.
And we live the moments that get you every time.
And that's all I have to say about that.
A mountain of movies, now streaming on Paramount Plus.
This is European soccer's biggest stage.
Written in the stars! What a difference she has made!
The question is, can you handle it?
Can you handle it?
The crowd here feels electric. Stream every match of the UEFA Women's Champions League on Paramount Plus.
I lost my dad and my aunt.
What aren't you telling me?
I'll never know what you've gone through, but I'm sure your dad will want you to be happy.
I will not lose the company that my husband started. I want success. Get it for me.
This business will bleed you dry.
Dad, I'm playing on the house's money now.
No, you're playing with the devil's money.
What's the plan here?
Gotta blow!
Yeah, well, I'm just getting started.
Landman. All episodes now streaming only on Paramount Plus.
Welcome back to Morning Footy 48 Nations. So after losing their opening game to South Korea 2-1, the Czechia team went to a rodeo in Texas. Now their camp is in Mansfield in the Lone Star State. Boys, we ever been to a rodeo before?
Love it. Have you been
Yes.
to a rodeo since you love Texas so much?
I
That's a
sure
better
have.
question.
They're a great fun time. I can see why they went. Do you think they enjoyed it? I mean,
They look like they're enjoying it.
They look like having a good time. By the way, who's their camera person? Because that's HD quality.
good photos.
Some
there.
very good photos.
Anything else? What did you boys do when you were playing in World Cup games? Did you do any team bonding activities?
We were based in Hamburg, and Bruce Arena, our coach, just let us have that free time to bond kind of on our own, not necessarily with anything planned. But I know in 2002 you guys did something.
Yeah, 2002, we took a Chinook helicopter as a team, and we went into the DMZ, the demilitarized zone, right? So we got to go into North Korea and walk in through the building. It was just an amazing experience. But just flying in a Chinook alone was an amazing experience. But that whole thing, I'll never forget it.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's incredible.
Yeah.
Awesome. Nice story, Tony. Okay, then over to Lisa. You got the headlines. Lovely to see you, Lisa.
Great to see you guys. Thanks for having me. It's my first day in covering 48 Nations.
All right,
Thrilled to
Lisa.
be here.
Welcome in.
You guys are crushing it. Keep me entertained all morning. But we have a
That's
lot
what
of
we
news
do.
that we have to get to. And we're starting with some from the World Cup, of course. We just spoke about it. There is a coaching change reportedly set to happen just 5 days into the tournament. According to multiple reports, Tunisia is close to firing head coach Sabri Lamouchi after yesterday's 5-1 loss to Sweden. The Tunisian Federation said in a statement to ESPN, quote, "We have a problem with the coach." Lamouchi was just appointed in January and won just one of his matches in charge. Tunisia's last two matches were a 5-0 loss to Belgium in a friendly and yesterday's 5-1 blowout. Right now, we are so pleased to bring in CBS Sports African football correspondent Mbizo Zamane. Mbizo, welcome in. Thanks so much for joining us this morning. Can you tell us more about what is going on here with Tunisia?
Well, as you stated there quite clearly, they have been underperforming quite severely in the build-up to this tournament. And as a matter of fact, they've been underachieving for quite some time. I mean, Tunisia is considered one of the giants of the African game, in terms of their historical performances. They have won AFCON. And as a matter of fact, they're one of Bafana Bafana's biggest rivals. We've gone to a couple of finals against them as well. So this is a top-tier team, a nation who expects a little bit more. And to be giving up 10 goals in 2 games like that is quite a serious issue. I think they were a little bit unfortunate, however, yesterday. I think they weren't spectacular, but I think their goalkeeper let them down on a number of occasions. And I think perhaps, just the lack of patience with the way the team has been performing so far has led them to some pretty drastic conversations.
And Mbizo, these type of conversations occur a long time before the actual announcement. So what's the next steps here for Tunisia? What do you want to see? Is there an interim coach, or have they got their mind on somebody already?
I'd suspect that if you're taking something so drastic like this, you don't quite have a backup planned yet. If they do, I'd be surprised. But I think what they really should be looking to do is to just diagnose the game itself as opposed to these long-standing problems. I don't think a move this drastic will bring any particular results. Although I say that, but again, Ivory Coast is an example that's going to live forever in our memory, because they fired their coach after the first game and were able to come back and win AFCON. So if everybody's following that model, I'm not sure how often it'll be successful. But for me, I think it's rather diagnose the problems from the match and try to improve in your next one.
All right, Mbizo, let's put on your coaching hat then and say they hired you to take the job. They're playing Japan in their next game. What changes would you make to their starting 11? Would you change out the goalkeeper, as you mentioned? Maybe made a couple errors in that one, or didn't make the timely saves that were needed to keep them in that match. What would you change within their team?
Yeah, I think the only major change I would make is the goalkeeper, because again, I don't think that they were awful, absolutely awful, at least initially to begin the game. But of course, when you give up goals like that, and then for the rest of the game you're not quite in control, you can't get a foothold, you miss some of your own opportunities, which they were able to create, as a matter of fact, to the point where they actually scored. So for me, I think changing the goalkeeper would be a major one, because if they don't give up those 2 goals. If you look at the first one, he should have come out and just caught it, taken the contact. He needs a little bit more courage and bravery than that. On the second one, it's a pretty basic shot. He should be pushing that away, and a top-class goalkeeper actually holds it. And so morale is already low at this point, and the rest of the game was just downhill from there. But they did attack. They did threaten. So I think that, you try to just motivate the team and to make sure that they remember their ability, their quality, because historically Tunisia is a defensively solid team. So that's what I would do. Change the goalkeeper, try to motivate and tell them at this point, you really have nothing to lose. Let's get after it against the Japanese, and maybe try to overwhelm them physically as opposed to try to match them tactically and technically, and hope that you can rely on that for a victory.
So, Mbizo, let me get this right here. We missed a bunch of opportunities. We had a bunch of attacks, and we're not going to change any of the forwards. We're just going to get rid of the goalkeeper. Is that what we're doing?
Look at the goalkeeper union.
That's
here.
it.
Yes,
Mbizo, I fired you. Jimmy, we fired him.
Mbizo's fired.
Third coach of the World Cup. No, love it, Mbizo. Yeah. Look, really quick. Normally we hear, thank you for your time. You did everything. The staff did everything. Blah, blah. We heard in that announcement, we have a problem with the coach. That was the announcement, right, that came out. That's a lot different than what we normally hear. Do you think anytime in the near future we're going to figure out what the problem, outside of the goalkeeper, of course, that we had with the manager?
Yeah, I mean, I'm very curious about that statement as well, especially because of the amount of time. But again, it really is, I think, a function of the underperformance leading into the tournament, as opposed to solely this performance alone. So certainly there has to be something philosophical or something about the approach. But again, I didn't see anything different from Tunisia that I generally see from them, and I've seen from them in the last couple of AFCONs and the last couple of games. So I wonder what's so different about this coach that they have a problem with him in particular, as opposed to the performance, because that's not what they focused on, is it? It sounded a little bit more personal than that. So I would be very curious to see, or to hear rather, what's going on in the back rooms.
Yeah. Lovely stuff, Mbizo. Thank you very much for joining us. Crazy news coming out of Tunisia. Thank you, though.
Thank you for having me, folks.
OK, then, everybody, we've still got some more news with the headlines, Lisa.
Plenty more to come, Hannah. There's a lot happening, including transfer news. Real Madrid, they made their first signing of the second Jose Mourinho era officially on Monday. Left-back Marc Cucurella has joined from Chelsea on an initial $69 million fee. According to multiple reports, the Spanish international will be joined by Ibrahima Konate, Denzel Dumfries, and Bernardo Silva as Madrid look to rebound from a second straight trophyless season with a summer overhaul. Over in England, Crystal Palace has reportedly lined up a successor to Oliver Glasner. According to multiple reports, Lens head coach Pierre Sage has agreed to a 3-year deal to join the Conference League champions. Sage only has 2 years of senior managerial experience, but was hugely successful last season with Lens, leading the club to its first ever Coupe de France title. In other coaching news, Fulham is reportedly finalizing a deal with former Real Madrid head coach Alvaro Arbeloa. Giovanni Van Bronckhorst is set to rejoin Feyenoord, and AC Milan is finalizing talks to make Ruben Amorim its next head coach. According to multiple reports, Amorim has agreed to join on a 2-year deal replacing Max Allegri after a disastrous season ending in a summer clear-out. Amorim failed to turn around Manchester United, reaching a Europa League final, but struggling in the Premier League. He reportedly will also join with front office duo Marcus Kroesche and Timo Hardung, who are set to be appointed as head of football and sporting director. Kroesche and Hardung have been with Eintracht Frankfurt in recent seasons. Tony, tell us what you think about this hire, but it seems a little strange that the head coaching hire is seemingly finalized before the sporting director.
Yeah, first I'm not as sort of down on Amorim as a lot of people are right off the jump, right? We're remembering Manchester United and what happened there, and I always judge managers after their job. But let's not forget Braga, and let's not forget Sporting, and he was one of the most highly sought-after young managers in all European football, right? With regards to your question about sporting director and all of that, I have to believe that as you're talking to the sporting director, if I'm talking to Jimmy, I'm Jimmy, okay, who would you bring in as the manager? You know, and you like the idea.
And Bezo.
And Bezo, yeah, no, I fired him already. He's fired. You're asking him what his thoughts are in this. So I imagine this is kind of all going together. The fact that Amorim is coming in maybe a couple days before the sporting director is not as if they don't have the ideas of the sporting department on what they want to do. Because I can't imagine, well, it's Milan, we made some decisions recently, but in most cases, I can't imagine that you would not be in sync right now when you're hiring all of those guys together.
Boys, what else do we think about Amorim? Do you think he's the right fit for Milan?
I'm going to be a wait and see. I'm going to follow Tony's lead on that one. I do think that he was incredibly stubborn during his time at Manchester United, where he didn't adapt to the players that he had. And one of the number one things they teach you in the coaching course is meeting your players where they are. And he didn't do that. And it's funny because he went to Northern Ireland, the federation where I'm getting my coaching badges as well. So that's what they teach us there. So I was kind of surprised that he didn't adapt like I thought he would. And he was just like, this is why they hired me. This is the way I play. And this is what we're going to do moving forward. They tried to accommodate that. The players tried to do it. The transfer they tried to get in did the same. It didn't work. And I hope that he's learned from that. He's reflected upon that experience, and that will make him better for Milan moving forward.
I'm so glad you used that word at the end. I'm interested to see how much he's learned from that experience at Manchester United, because what I took from not just the stuff on the pitch, because on the pitch it had its own problems, but off of the pitch and the handling of the media, the frosty responses to questions, sometimes even just genuine outbursts. If you're going to go into a club like AC Milan, it's the same level of expectations, the same level of scrutiny, the same level of pressure that's on you when you was in the hot seat at Manchester United. So what do you learn in terms of how to balance that? Because the outside variables, as much as you feel like they don't impact, of course they do. The noise outside, the relationships you have with journalists, with the broadcasters, everything else, all impacts a narrative that's around you. And if you think that's any different in stepping into a club like AC Milan in comparison to Manchester United, then you haven't really understood in terms of the higher echelons of management at top-level football.
Do you think the way Amorim plays football will help or hurt Pulisic on this Milan side?
Well, the idea is that he's going to play with that 3-4-2-1, right, which fits into exactly what Christian is doing here with the national team. I think that actually helps him, right? Now that there's going to be no Rafa Leao in this side, they don't play with like a true winger. They certainly need, he's already said if he does this, he needs 2 center backs at a minimum, and he needs a striker in this group. And that's been the weakness of Milan, for a couple of years now.
Yeah. So Amorim on his way to Italy, someone did comment on YouTube, bring out the magnet board. We saw Amorim on the sidelines with his tactics balls.
You got to give him a chance to teach.
Yeah.
Maybe not during the games. That's more for
At least he doesn't have to play Grimsby away. There's no Grimsby in.
Yeah, no Grimsby. All right, then, everybody, coming up next, we're going to be taking a quick break here on Morning Footy, but do stay with us. We've got much more coming up on the other side.
At the start of every year, I find myself wondering again, constantly questioning life's mysteries. Could I make it in the UFC octagon?
When Jeff Probst asks survivors, ready?
Do they ever want to say no? Has Dexter ever considered meditation? Will Beth and Rip make it last on the new series Dutton Ranch? If not, Rip, call me. Stream new series and returning favorites, plus huge events. It's going to be the biggest year yet.
Welcome to the Running Man. The rules are simple. Survive 30 days. But the entire nation is hunting you down.
The grand prize, $1 billion.
Win this game. Change your family's life forever.
Hunt him down!
People will sell you out in a heartbeat.
What is happening?
Welcome to the Running Man.
I'm back. I'm really back.
Why am I here? I'm not dead, right?
Disruption on this campus will not be tolerated.
I look crazy. It's because that's how I feel. I don't know how to live in 2 worlds.
There are others. They're not like us. We need to get out of here now. Open your eyes.
Paramount Plus has a mountain of movies. Wow. New movies. Timeless movies. Guys who are running out of time movies. So get in on the latest blockbusters.
Trust me.
And relive the moments that get you every time.
And that's all I have to say about that.
A mountain of movies, now streaming on Paramount+.
This is European soccer's biggest stage.
Written in the stars! What a difference she has made!
The question is, can you handle it?
Tell me, can you handle it?
The crowd here feels electric. Stream every match of the UEFA Women's Champions League on Paramount+.
I lost my dad and my aunt.
What aren't you telling me?
I'll never know what you've gone through, but I'm sure your dad will want you to be happy.
I will not lose the company that my husband started. I want success. Get it for me.
This business will bleed you dry.
Dad, I'm playing on the house's money now.
No, you're playing with the devil's money.
What's the plan here?
Gonna blow!
Yeah, well, I'm just getting started.
Landman. All episodes now streaming only on Paramount+.
Welcome back to Morning Footy. 48 nations. So everybody, on this day in 2018, it was the opening game on the Group B match in the World Cup in Russia. It was Portugal versus Spain, and Ronaldo got a hat-trick. So he got a penalty in the 4th minute. Just before half-time in the 44th minute, he scored from open play. And then finally, on a free kick in the 88th minute, he got his 3rd. Portugal get going on Wednesday this week against DR Congo in this year's World Cup. But an amazing day in 2018. Boys, do you remember this one?
I do. I remember being surprised that he actually scored a free kick. He takes all of them, but he doesn't have a very high success rate. So, yeah, fair play to him. That was an epic performance, an all-timer.
Yeah, this is Ronaldo's World Cup resume. It's his 6th World Cup this year. Tied the record with Messi. He's the first man to score in 5 World Cups. He's had the most appearances and goals in men's international football, 143 goals in 226 appearances. Became the 3rd oldest goal scorer, 37 years old, 292 days. But despite all of this, he is yet to win the World Cup or Golden Ball.
If he works really hard, he could have a half-decent career, man.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Half-decent career. Do you think he could get that first World Cup this year, boys?
I never doubt Portugal. I think Portugal is one of those, because of the quality that's within the squad, and they don't really have a bad player within the squad. I really do think that they could be, I think they're being overlooked by a lot of people, just in terms of just the quality that's there. And I don't know if necessarily Cristiano Ronaldo is the answer at this stage of his career for the success of the team, but he's still going to give you a magic moment or two. So I think Portugal stand a very, very good chance of going deep into the competition.
One of the storylines is how Roberto Martinez manages him in this World Cup. Remember what happened last World Cup when he gets benched and he wasn't happy about it, right? And they thought at that point he was done. He can certainly be useful. I don't know that he's a 90-minute player for this Portuguese side, although when you look, and I know Jimmy will tell you he loves this midfield, and you should love this midfield.
Yeah.
They're going to, and by the way, they're wing backs. You're going to create some chances in this group.
Yeah, you got Vitinha, João Neves, who played for PSG. Bruno Fernandes plays for Manchester United. That is arguably the best midfield in the tournament. But I don't know whether you start Cristiano Ronaldo, and if you do, how do you utilize him in the press? Mm-hmm. Because that's what makes PSG so special. Is they're so good at pressing, trapping you, and you need everybody bought in to make that happen. Not to say that Cristiano Ronaldo isn't bought in, but I don't know if he can move the same way. Do you want him to waste energy doing that?
Bruno Fernandes and,
that's true.
And Cristiano. I don't think that's what Roberto Martinez is going to do. I don't think
But I think that limits
right.
They could be so much better if they did, right? So now you got to manage how you figure out how to utilize those guys without being able to use a super strength for me, which is that press.
But I think the idea is maybe with that engine in the midfield, you're going to have the ball a lot more than your opponent.
Yeah,
right?
good point.
You're going to make magic with the ball, not against the ball. But you have to do that at some point, right? And I'm guessing that this is Cristiano's last opportunity to win World Cup, right?
I don't know
at least we think it is, right?
He hasn't confirmed it himself.
Yeah, until he confirms it, I suppose. But you're going to have to do some of those things at moments.
Maybe if he hasn't hit 1,000 goals come the next World Cup, he might.
Oh, no, he would have hit 1,000 goals.
Yeah, well, he's got, what, 20 or something?
I told you he's going to have a half-decent career, this kid, man. He'll be all right.
He's on the up, everyone. So Ronaldo and Portugal starting their World Cup campaign this Wednesday against DR Congo. We are taking a break here on Morning Footy. We've got much more Morning Footy 48 Nations coming up on the other side.
At the start of every year, I find myself wondering again, constantly questioning life's mysteries. Could I make it in the UFC octagon?
When Jeff Probst asks survivors, ready?
Do they ever want to say no? Has Dexter ever considered meditation? Will Beth and Rip make it last on the new series Dutton Ranch? If not, Rip, call me. Stream new series and returning favorites, plus huge events. It's going to be the biggest year yet.
Welcome to the Running Man. The rules are simple. Survive 30 days. But the entire nation is hunting you down.
The grand prize, $1 billion.
Win this game. Change your family's life forever.
Hunt him down!
People will sell you out in a heartbeat.
What is happening?
Welcome to the Running Man.
I'm back. I'm really back.
Why am I here? I'm not dead, right?
Disruption on this campus will not be tolerated.
If I look crazy, it's because that's how I feel. I don't know how to live in two worlds.
There are others, but they're not like us. We need to get out of here now. Open your eyes.
Paramount Plus has a mountain of movies. Wow. New movies. Timeless movies. Guys who are running out of time movies. So get in on the latest blockbusters.
Trust me.
And we live the moments that get you every time.
And that's all I have to say about that.
A mountain of movies, now streaming on Paramount Plus.
This is European soccer's biggest stage.
Written in the stars! What a difference she has made!
The question is, can you handle it?
Tell me, can you handle it?
The crowd here feels electric. Stream every match of the UEFA Women's Champions League on Paramount Plus.
I lost my dad and my aunt.
What aren't you telling me? I'll never know what you've gone through, but I'm sure your dad will want you to be happy.
I will not lose the company that my husband started. I want success. Get it for me.
This business will bleed you dry.
Dad, I'm playing on the house's money now.
No, you're playing with the devil's money.
What's the plan here?
Gonna blow!
Yeah, well, I'm just getting started.
Landman. All episodes now streaming only on Paramount Plus.
Welcome back, everybody. So we're 5 days into the largest World Cup in history. So, boys, it's time to rate the best World Cup performances that we've seen so far. So we've seen a couple of games in these 5 days, and we're going to be rating who we think had the best performance. So, Jimmy, do you want to get started?
Yeah, I can go first. I am going to give a shout out to the 22-year-old goalkeeper from Australia, Pat Beach. I thought he was tremendous. He only his third ever cap, the first a competitive cap. The other two were in friendlies. So for him to step up in that moment and to take over for the captain, Matt Ryan, and be like, I'm going to be the guy, was immense. Obviously, he had 8 saves against Turkey, and that's the most by a debutant in the World Cup since 2002. The most ever for an Australian goalkeeper in a World Cup match. So he's just got all kinds of records, and he stepped up and had a hell of a performance. He made some key saves, timely saves. You need a hot goalkeeper in these types of competitions if you're going to win a game, if you're going to go on to win the tournament. So I wanted to give him all of his flowers, and I'm hopeful that he has a terrible game in the next one against the U.S.
Tony,
that he got all of his good saves out in this one.
Show's back on track. We're giving a little goalkeeper love. So.
He's trying to let Mbizo go.
I'm going to go with another guy who played his first World Cup game, and that was for the U.S., and that's Flo Balogun. And maybe the fact that I saw it live gives me a different perspective. His movement was outstanding, obviously scoring 2 goals in this match. His hold-up play was incredible. His work off the ball was relentless. And just what he added to this group and what he gave this group, every time they needed an option, he was available for the U.S. team. And of course, this is a guy that we courted for a year. We saw the basketball games and all the things that were going on to try and get him to come to the U.S. He had an opportunity to play for 3 different nations. He chose and looks like is really happy with this choice. This is where he wants to be. That's who I went with, JD, for my man so far as my best performance. What are we, 5 days into the World Cup?
It's going to be him versus Pat Beach in the next game, right? So we'll see. Balogun versus Beach.
I'm saying this again in a week.
Me too.
We've had a big discussion. Sorry, JD. I think we should talk a bit about Flo Balogun because it's been such a big discussion in this World Cup so far. We've spoken on this desk before about, you know, Landon had Clint. Do you think this is Christian has Flo? Sorry. Do you think that's the kind of partnership we're seeing?
So far, and we've kind of seen it growing for a little while. So I don't want to be like a one-off and just in one day, you know, we change the narrative of our history and our game, right? Because Landon and Clint were so good. But there's no doubt that when I look at this group and I look at the way that they're playing, the ideas that they've had. And really, it was hard to convince people, the Belgium game, the Portugal game, that there were actually really good signs, right? Because you look at the result and you're like, oh, no, it's not good. You lost. But there were moments when they were on the field together that we started to see some things growing. Right, but it's hard when you concede 5 goals to convince anybody that anything is growing. We just saw a manager get fired at the World Cup conceding 5 goals. So, again, it's been growing little by little. They just put it together on the day. The hope, of course, is that you didn't shoot all your bullets on match day 1, right? And that's kind of where we're at.
Oh, my turn now? Yes. Oh, we balance it, right? Because I love the fact that we picked about 2 individuals that are actually going head-to-head, but I'm actually going to take it out for a second and talk about a team. And I don't want to call them underdogs anymore because I think since 2002, since they've had an opportunity to host, I think for the last 20-odd years, we've seen in glimpses that Japan can really cause an upset over a lot of teams. I mean, let's not forget that in the previous World Cup, they actually topped a group that had, Spain and Germany in. They really showcase in terms of what they can do in the big moments. And what I love about this and why I wanted to spotlight them is they're actually a team. They're actually cohesive. They're not built in terms of with a lot of industry or they've got great technicians in there, great playmakers. They understand in terms of what the system's about, and they really utilize and help each other in terms of their strengths. There's no actual individual standout players. You have players with brilliance, but there's a lot of players that are very, very good. And I love the fact that they were able to be cohesive. Now, I take a note and I start looking at their history, and they've overcome Ghana, Bolivia, Scotland, England, Iceland, all without conceding. And of course, we saw what they did to Brazil most recently as well. I don't want to call them an underdog anymore because sometimes, especially with the smaller nations in terms of geographically, we go, oh, maybe they'll turn up, maybe they'll do okay. I think they're going to cause a lot of problems for a lot of teams in this World Cup. And if they can get some goals, oh, they're going to be an absolute problem.
I think what's interesting about Japan playing the Netherlands in particular, Japan played more like Netherlands historically do. So they were playing the more total football. And the Dutch were playing a little bit more on the front foot, but being a little bit more vertical in how they play, not necessarily to their stereotypical style. When we look at Morocco-Brazil, it was the same. Morocco was playing more like Brazil, and Brazil was playing this version that was a little bit more nonchalant. Maybe that's more Carlo Ancelotti. But it's just interesting that we have these nations that have probably been trying to aspire to these systems and these philosophies for so long. And now they're actually doing it against the nations that they're competing against. That's another reason why this World Cup is special.
Yeah, we did get a comment in the chat. What about Somerville scoring his first ever goal in a World Cup while just being selected for the Netherlands?
Well, he's only just got selected literally the other day.
Yeah.
You know what it tells me about Somerville? He's not scared of the moment. Because to be selected for your nation, and I will always defer to my guys who have represented their country, the emotion you must feel inside of here and feel like it's a pinnacle moment. It's okay if you have maybe a subpar or below-level performance because you're trying to manage all of everything else that goes with it. Ticket requests, the fact that you're hitting a lifetime goal, the fact that you're representing your country and your journey that comes with it. But then to go in there and actually, probably the best finish I saw last night was incredible where he cut in and just put it away. It looked like he's ready for the moment.
And I think he's going to form a nice partnership and already did last night with Denzel Dumfries. I really feel like that right side of the Dutch is pretty superb.
Yeah, a lot of people are saying Japan-Netherlands has been the game of the tournament so far. Everyone, time for a quick break here on Morning Footy. We've got much more coming up on the other side, so do stay with us, everyone.
At the start of every year, I find myself wondering again, constantly questioning life's mysteries. Could I make it in the UFC octagon?
When Jeff Probst asks survivors, ready?
Do they ever want to say no? Has Dexter ever considered meditation? Will Beth and Rip make it last on the new series Dutton Ranch? If not, Rip, call me. Stream new series and returning favorites, plus huge events. It's going to be the biggest year yet.
Welcome to the Running Man. The rules are simple. Survive 30 days. But the entire nation is hunting you down.
The grand prize, $1 billion.
Win this game. Change your family's life forever.
Hunt him down!
People will sell you out in a heartbeat.
What is happening?
Welcome to the Running Man.
I'm back. I'm really back.
Why am I here? I'm not dead, right?
Disruption on this campus will not be tolerated.
If I look crazy, it's because that's how I feel. I don't know how to live in two worlds.
There are others. But they're not like us. We need to get out of here. Now. Open your eyes.
Paramount Plus has a mountain of movies. Wow. New movies. Timeless movies. Guys who are running out of time movies. So get in on the latest blockbusters.
Trust me.
And relive the moments that get you every time.
And that's all I have to say about that.
A mountain of movies, now streaming on Paramount Plus.
This is European soccer's biggest stage.
Written in the stars! What a difference she has made!
The question is, can you handle it?
Tell me, can you handle it?
The crowd here feels electric. Stream every match of the UEFA Women's Champions League on Paramount Plus.
I lost my dad and my aunt.
What aren't you telling me?
I'll never know what you've gone through, but I'm sure your dad will want you to be happy.
I will not lose the company that my husband started. I want success. Get it for me.
This business will bleed you dry.
Dad, I'm playing on the house's money now.
No, you're playing with the devil's money.
What's the plan here?
Gonna blow!
Yeah, well, I'm just getting started.
Landman. All episodes now streaming only on Paramount Plus.
Hey, welcome back to Morning Footy. Group A action is back on Thursday. Czechia will take on South Africa, both looking to bounce back after opening match losses, kicking things off at noon. And then at 9 p.m., Mexico will face South Korea, and what could be one of the marquee matches of the group stage. And so far, we have seen pretty exciting things from the fans of some of these nations, including Mexico and South Korea. Take a look at this. This is at a taqueria in Guadalajara. The South Korean fans and the Mexican fans, Jimmy, they're having a ball.
Yeah, it looks great. I actually want to be there. And I'm kind of curious, is that Gangnam Style on the TV? I mean, that is next level. I haven't seen Gangnam Style since 2012 or whenever it dropped.
And then take a look at the celebrations here from the Mexican fans as they just went absolutely wild after their 2-0 win over South Africa in match day 1. This is all Group A action. Needless to say, it's been a party, and it has been fun. Here's another one. Mexican fans pouring shots into the mouth of the South Korean fans. I mean, that's a party that I want to be at.
Yeah, the relationship between those two countries seems to be very friendly. We'll see that in game 2. Maybe that changes.
We'll see how it turns around. Well, right now we are so pleased to welcome in Emmanuel Han and Ray Rose, the Korea Away producers, into Morning Footy. Hey guys, good morning. How are you?
Buenos dias, guys.
Hey, good morning. How are you?
We are good. We're so excited to talk to you. I mean, it seems like it has been an adventure already with your time in Mexico, Ray. Describe it a little bit for us. How much fun are you having with these Mexican fans?
I mean, it's probably the trip of our lives. We kind of knew that we might feel this love from the Mexican fans and the local communities here, but it has been way above our expectations, and it's been amazing so far.
So, Emmanuel, let's talk a little bit about how you've been embraced by the Mexican supporters. Have you been surprised by all their love and friendship, ultimately?
Yeah, I mean, we've known and Koreans have been friendly with each other, especially after 2018 when South Korea beat Germany to help Mexico advance to the next round. And we were expecting a little bit of that, but the only way I can describe it is nonstop. Like, if you have a Korea jersey, you're walking down the streets of Guadalajara, you'll hear chants of Korea. You know, it's just nonstop. And I it's just hard to believe. It's even hard to put into words just how much it is.
We saw a taste of it in some of those social videos that we just played before we brought you in about how much camaraderie there really is between these two groups. But considering you're experiencing it constantly when you're walking around wearing your Korea shirts, what's the craziest interaction that you've had with a Mexican fan?
I think the craziest is that they are constantly cheering our team on, even when, they are actually in our group, in Group A. So that's kind of a rare sight to see, right? When you're actually rooting for an opponent that's in the same group as you. So that's kind of like the spirit of the World Cup and the love that we truly feel here in Mexico.
All right, so Emmanuel, we've seen your content on Korea Away's Instagram page. Tell us a little bit about the project that you're doing and what you're trying to shine a light on.
Yeah, Korea Away is a docuseries that explores Korean diaspora identity through the lens of soccer. Our thesis is basically that the Korean soccer history is our immigrant history. Soccer is one of those rare things that can bring people together, whether you're from the home country or whether you're from a diaspora community. And this is the same whether you're Korean or Mexican or any other nationality. And so we've been working on this project for about 6 months, interviewing people in North America, so the US, and we have some people here in Mexico. And we're just excited to see what we uncover through interviews and just on-the-ground footage that we get.
We just talked a little bit about the relationship between you guys and all the Mexican fans, but I mean, this is a South Korean project. What have you learned about some of the South Korean fans that you have interacted with in Mexico?
South Korean fans are down. They're down for anything. And I think it is really interesting because people might have a certain perspective of Koreans as like being a little bit more reserved, but here you don't see any of that. You're seeing people partying with the Mexicans. They're going all night. They're drinking hard. Apparently people are making out on the streets, which is amazing. People are being tossed on the streets. I think ultimately Koreans love to have a good time, and so do Mexicans. And we just kind of bond at this level of like, this is the World Cup. There's a lot happening, but let's just enjoy this moment. Let's enjoy the footy and let's enjoy our brotherhood.
All right, so let's talk about this brotherhood because I feel like it's going to be put to the test, Ray, in particular, since you're playing Mexico on Thursday. Do you think the vibes are going to change at all, or do you still feel like it's going to stay pretty friendly?
You know what? So interesting fact, I was actually at the 2018 World Cup when Korea last played Mexico in the World Cup. And, sure, we were enemies at that year as well. But right afterwards, we were back to being friends. And, the Mexican fans are always showing us love. So, yes, this week's game will also be very intense, especially with the love that we have for each other. So the rivalry might also be stronger. But I also believe in the brotherhood that we've already built, that we will still have a lot of love for each other before, during, and after the game. So I think the best result might be a draw. But you know what? I'm just here to have a good time with the Korean national team, and so are all of our other Korean fans.
That's spoken like a fan that wants some shots poured right into his mouth. He wants a draw in
or
this
some
game.
kisses.
Yeah, or some kisses perhaps in the street. It's been fun to watch the South Korean team so far. The comeback against Czechia, and now we get to see them against Mexico. The expectations are pretty high for this team in South Korea. What realistically are the expectations for this team in this World Cup? How far can they get?
I think there is a lot of pressure on the South Korean team, and there always has been. I think Korean fans expect a lot. We have superstars like Son Heung-min, Lee Kang-in, Kim Min-jae. I think we saw in the second half against Czechia, they let go of a little bit of the pressure and they started playing better. I think so many Korean fans showing up will help them, and even the coach has said so. I think realistically, we can get to the quarters at least. And then from there, we just pray and we hope for some good results.
Well, you've made it to a semifinal before in the tournament you hosted with Japan back in 2002. So there is history that you can make a deep run, and you obviously have the quality to do so. Some top players, including Son Heung-min. How important has he been to your team? Obviously, tremendous success at the club level in the country, but also just to the nation overall in terms of inspiring the next generation.
Yeah, Son has been, our leader on the squad. But as a country, he is somebody that we look up to culturally as well, from a sporting perspective, but also in a cultural lens. But from the team side, just because he's not scoring the goals, just because he's not giving you the assists, does not mean that he's not making an impact on the team. If you really know the beautiful game, the impact that he has just being on the field and being in a certain position draws the players in, where it opens up the space for our other players to score, kind of like Hwang In-bum did. So, you know what? He is probably still the most important player for our team, and we are rooting for him no matter what.
Love to hear that. I mean, he is so fun to watch. He's changed the game for so many.
Well, that's how I felt as a player.
Yeah.
Didn't have any goals or an assist, but I had a huge impact. So I got a lot of time and love for that.
Emmanuel, Ray, thank you guys so much. We really appreciate it. Enjoy the rest of the tournament.
And tell Josh I said what's up.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you so much. Have a good tournament.
Stick with us, guys. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back with so much more Morning Footy after this.
At the start of every year, I find myself wondering again, constantly questioning life's mysteries. Could I make it in the UFC octagon?
When Jeff Probst asks survivors, ready?
Do they ever want to say no? Has Dexter ever considered meditation? Will Beth and Rip make it last on the new series Dutton Ranch? If not, Rip, call me. Stream new series and returning favorites, plus huge events. It's going to be the biggest year yet.
Welcome to the Running Man. The rules are simple. Survive 30 days. But the entire nation is hunting you down.
The grand prize, $1 billion.
Win this game. Change your family's life forever.
Hunt him down!
People will sell you out in a heartbeat.
What is happening?
Welcome to the Running Man.
I'm back. I'm really back.
Why am I here? I'm not dead, right?
Disruption on this campus will not be tolerated.
If I look crazy, it's because that's how I feel. I don't know how to live in two worlds.
There are others. But they're not like us. We need to get out of here. Now.
Open your eyes.
Paramount Plus has a mountain of movies. Wow. New movies. Timeless movies. Guys who are running out of time movies. So get in on the latest blockbusters.
Trust me.
And we live the moments that get you every time.
And that's all I have to say about that.
A mountain of movies, now streaming on Paramount Plus.
This is European soccer's biggest stage.
Written in the stars! What a difference she has made!
The question is, can you handle it?
Tell me, can you handle it?
The crowd here feels electric. Stream every match of the UEFA Women's Champions League on Paramount Plus.
I lost my dad and my aunt.
What aren't you telling me?
I'll never know what you've gone through, but I'm sure your dad will want you to be happy.
I will not lose the company that my husband started. I want success. Get it for me.
This business will bleed you dry.
Dad, I'm playing on the house's money now.
No, you're playing with the devil's money.
What's the plan here?
Gonna blow!
Yeah, well, I'm just getting started.
Landman. All episodes now streaming only on Paramount Plus.
So plenty coming up on Paramount Plus today at 2 p.m. It's Golazo Match Day, reacting to Spain versus Cabo Verde with Chris Whittingham, Nigel Reo-Coker and Troy Deeney. Then at 5 p.m, the guys will be reacting to the Belgium-Egypt game. Shortly after, they'll be talking Saudi Arabia versus Uruguay. And then well into the evening, we have Scoreline 48 Nations recapping the day's action. So right now, we're going to be talking about the Spain versus Cabo Verde game. And here are the odds for Spain to win the World Cup. So Jimmy, why don't you walk us through these?
Yeah, these are the favorites, ultimately. You got France at plus 450, trying to get to their third consecutive World Cup final, which would be pretty impressive if they can do that. Spain, fresh off of winning the Euros in 2024, the second favorites. England, the Three Lions, in third. That's interesting. Portugal, plus 750. Brazil, plus 1,000. Argentina, plus 1,000. I actually think the best value is on Argentina to go back-to-back, just given the quality that they have, the experience they have. Essentially, if you put $100 on any of these bets, that's what you'll get in return. So you get 1,000 for Argentina or 450 for France, for those that don't know.
Okay, lovely stuff. Thanks, Jimmy.
Of course.
You explain bets a lot more better than me. So, a lot of noise coming out of this Spain camp. Not so much noise on how the team's playing because they're doing so well. They're second ranked in the FIFA rankings, aren't they? But apparently, if Spain win the World Cup, one of the players has said he will get Luis de la Fuente's face tattooed on his body. And that's Marco Correa. He said that.
Oh, Marco Correa's had an interesting 24 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah, very interesting 24 hours. Going to Real Madrid. No Real Madrid player has been named into this Spanish lineup.
Does it change now?
Changed.
Does it really change? Or?
Yeah, it does. Florentino made sure that when you roll it out and you put the graphic in terms of what clubs play for, there's a Real Madrid acknowledgement.
Got it.
We're going to be updating the graphic.
Did he say what part of his body he was going to get this tattoo?
Yeah,
he said, I'm going to leave it to the imagination.
That is a butt cheek for sure.
What do we make of this Spain team? Second in FIFA rankings. Do we like them as the favourites to win this World Cup?
Certainly one of the favorites. It's hard to look past France, right? When you look at this World Cup, but De La Fuente's done such a great job and clear style of play since he got there. The idea of thinking about the idea for me, thinking about before 2010 that this team couldn't win anything. Now we go into every competition thinking that they can win something, right? And Lamine Yamal is going to be a big conversation piece in how much he plays. Apparently, it looks like he's ready to go, but likely not going to start. But you talk about you got a Ballon d'Or winner right in the middle of the field in Rodri. I mean, they've hit so many pieces. Question marks in goal. David Raya saying he's going to give the managers fit, but it looks like it's going to be Unai Simon. So, their questions are different than other teams' questions because you're talking about guys that are playing at the highest level that are not starting with their teams. But you talk about talent just from top to bottom. Yeah,
I would say, too, when you think about the Spanish domination that happened in 2008, 2010, 2012, where they won 3 major trophies in a row, that was built on possession and 1,000 passes of death, right? They'd eventually get there and score. When they added in Nico Williams and Lamine Yamal, they've now added a little bit of verticality so that they can add that and go quick, fast. But they've also gotten more dynamic on the wings in a way where I'm like, I don't know how you defend these guys. Because if you figure out a way to maybe stack those 2 wingers up, well, they're just going to kill you with those 1,000 passes in the middle of the field. And so they just become so dynamic. I don't know how they're not the heavy favorites and not in that conversation. They definitely are. And the bookies think the same. And that France is very similar. They can pass you to death, or they can also hit you very quickly in 1 or 2 passes. And that's what I think makes them so vibrant and the favorites to win this competition.
I think cohesiveness and chemistry is a large element because not only these teams and these players understand the recognition of obviously wearing the Spain kit and the history that comes with that, especially most recently, but they're playing together every week in terms of their club level. Like, this is a very Barcelona-heavy favoured team, or players that have been playing together since the youth system. I look at Spain and I almost look at that. Other countries should take a note, not only in terms of what they're producing at the highest level, but also their consistency in terms of in their youth development, because a lot of these players have been playing together for a long period of time. So patterns of play, understanding of my teammates, and most importantly, the understanding of expectations that's on their shoulders, it's almost second nature to them now. I did have a question mark, of course. Ferran Torres is not here, which we know, of course, due to injury and all the rest of it. So who was going to be their prominent goal scorer? Who was going to step into that situation? Who was going to understand the moment? But wow, I don't have any more question marks when it comes to them. I've run out of superlatives. They're phenomenal.
Yeah, it seems like all the questions have been answered, because the biggest one was Lamine Yamal's health. And Luis de la Fuente did address about Lamine Yamal, and here is what he said. Lamine is in perfect condition, training very well like the rest of the teammates who have had some issues. I can tell you that all the players are available for the debut. So we haven't seen Lamine Yamal play on the pitch since April, since he got injured. He is named on the bench today. Boys, when we're looking at the starting 11, what stands out to us?
For me, Mikel Oyarzabal up top. You know, who's going to be the number one, to JD's point, who's going to score the goals for them, who's going to be on the end of all that passing and possession. And he's been fantastic for Real Sociedad, especially since Pellegrino Matarazzo has been in charge. It's been a big catalyst, so I expect him to find the score sheet amongst many players today against Cabo Verde. But when you look at all those names, from Gavi over to Torres or Oyarzabal in that midfield is ridiculous. I know that Big Tones has been salivating over that midfield since they got started this tournament.
I mean, you got a Ballon d'Or winner, Champions League winner. Pedri is a guy that I like focusing on. I love his storyline. I look at the back. You got experience, Laporte. You got the young, I call him, 10, 15-year center back in Cubarsí. Simone, I know that I said there's a question mark in goal, but this is who De La Fuente wants, a very capable goalkeeper. Cucurella, if he gets his tattoo or not, one way or the other, we know he's going up and down the field. Llorente, for me, is a bit of a wild card. I'm so happy he's starting because he does everything for Atleti. He plays here, he plays here, he plays here. And remember, he came to La Liga as a number 10. Right? He was an attacking player, so you know where his love is, and it's being in the final third of the field. His energy is incredible. It's infectious with this group. I mean, there's just you can go line by line. There's such a talented side, but for me, it's the midfield, like most teams. I don't know you can be as successful at the highest level if you don't have a midfield that really dictates things. And you look at all those teams you mentioned in those stats, the odds that we had. Look at their midfields, and they are the generals of the game.
Yeah.
I was just curious to see in terms of how they're going to shape up in that front three, because I see Torres on the right hand side, and I understand that Oyarzabal will probably find himself as the focal point, but honestly, I don't think they'll be as restricted as this. And I was speaking about Torres' fitness because I feel like he's one of those strikers that gets 6, 7, 8 games where he looks phenomenal, and then there's always an injury that kind of disrupts his season or disrupts in terms of his rhythm. What the consistency that you're going to see in terms of, even when you look at Pedri and Gavi, don't be surprised if they're interchanging and exchanging positions too. The only consistent person that I know is going to actually play this position that's designated right here is Rodri. Like, at some points you might see Fabian Ruiz be the furthest player forward, and that's what makes them so dangerous. They kind of reinvented the wheel when we talk about football, and I don't really look at the number 9 position and think to myself, that's going to be someone who's going to be front facing, who's going to be on the edge of the back line all day. They can hurt you in so many ways, and that's what makes them the most dangerous team in this competition.
You can also see Torres and Gavi maybe go inside a little bit, which will allow Cucurella and Llorente to bomb forward. Now they created some nice overloads in a lot of different areas of the field. Yeah, I fear for Cabo Verde today.
Tony, which player are you rooting for on this side?
I mentioned it, I touched on it, Pedri. Just knowing his storyline, knowing the injuries that he's had at Barcelona, how important he is when him and Gavi are on the field together. That relationship is incredible. I love the movement. I love the energy. Not a big framed guy, much cut like the Vitinhas of the world, the Luka Modric's of the world, but he will get into a tackle and he never stops. His engine goes for 90 minutes. It's been unfortunate that he's missed, games over the last year and a half, but Pedri's a guy, man, when he's on, he's just a joy to watch.
And 10 of the 11 players in the Spanish lineup, you can watch them next season here on Paramount Plus. The only person you can't be watching is Laporte. So we've kind of changed the jerseys. I mean, 10 out of the 11 players playing in the likes of the Champions League, it is incredible, isn't it, boys?
I mean, look, it's what you expect in terms of just the quality that is out here. This is where they're going to be. They're going to be showcasing on the best network, as you want to say, Corporation, Hannah. I like it.
I guess it's actually 9 players, excuse me, 9 of the 11.
I mean, we don't even, I mean, obviously we know today that Simon will be starting, but that throughout the tournament, don't be surprised if that maybe interchanges or that it gets in terms of replacements. So you might get your 10 that you wanted to talk about.
Yeah. Do we like that, Simon? I know it's a debate, but it seems like De La Fuente's got his mind made up.
Yeah, his work at Athletic Club has been outstanding. Of course, we look at David Raya, and I think just Arsenal in general gets more love because you win the Premier League, you get to a Champions League final, but it's hard to argue with what he's done.
Yeah, but you got the likes of the best goalkeeper in the Premier League, best goalkeeper in La Liga.
The fact that he plays in the Premier League doesn't mean he's the best Spanish goalkeeper, right? That's what I'm doing. We give so much love to that league, but the reality is he's done everything from a goalkeeping standpoint that David Raya, and probably as good as David Raya has been, probably has had fewer blunders than David Raya has had, right? And I think that's what he plays really well with his feet, right? Which is something that's important for this time. I hate saying that because for me, the goalkeeper's job is to stop balls first and make saves, right? But they don't have to make a ton of saves, right? A lot of it is they use him and build out, and Laporte just feels, De La Fuente, I'm sorry, just feels really, really comfortable with him. So I get the David Raya argument. I love that David Raya said, I'm going to give my managers fits. I'm going to give them a decision to make in the end. But I think this is ultimately going to be the decision.
OK, so should we look at the starting 11 for Cabo Verde then? It's their first World Cup. And Jimmy and JD, you've got 2 players you're rooting for on this side.
I'll let you go first.
All right, well,
I'm going to save my boy for last.
No, yeah, this is going to be a long day for everybody. But one of the players that I'm rooting for in particular is Vosinha in goal. He's 40 years old, one of 7 players in this tournament that's over 40. If you want to guess in the comments who the other 6 are, I'll let you get after it there. But he plays in the 2nd division in Portugal for Chaves. He's got over 80 caps for his national team. He is potentially going up against a player, Lamine Yamal, who is 21 years younger than him, but both playing in their first World Cup. So it's a really special story. I just think he's going to have a lot of work to do. So I wanted to give him a shout out, because maybe there's an opportunity for him to stand on his head, maybe similar to the Australia goalkeeper Pat Beach, which keeps them in it. And the longer they can stay in it, the more they can dream that maybe it's possible to pull off an upset. But he's going to be a big reason why if they have any chance at it. But 40 years old, getting his World Cup debut is pretty remarkable.
So the person I wanted to give flowers to actually isn't starting, which I think is actually a good thing because they're coming back from probably a long-winded ACL injury. The amount of games that they played this year in terms of La Liga hasn't been there. So we're not going to focus on Logo Costa. We're going to turn around and actually talk about the team here. And I'm just going to have a prayer for them for a moment. Because we've seen what's happened in terms of some of these other teams that have gone up against major European teams, especially in those first games where everybody wants to make a statement. Everybody wants to be fresh. Everybody knows that Spain are one of the major tournament favourites. So I'm just going to have a prayer for Cabo Verde, just to say that, you know, you want to come out of here with an element of respect, an element of unity, and some building blocks that you can carry into the next game. You see how I didn't even refer to a victory there? It's because you just want to taper expectations. Can we showcase in small spells, 15-minute increments, 30-minute increments, that we are at least a unit, things that we can carry? Because, you know, Spain are going to have the majority of the ball. Some of the statistics you might see after 90 minutes, you will think to yourself, like, did the other team turn up? And that's more than fair. But what they can do is showcase what transition football looks like, especially on the counter-attack, how good we can be, especially defensively. I would hedge a bet to say that the coach probably hasn't worked on a lot of offensive sets leading up to this game. He's probably more talking about how his team can be effective in the transition and how Livramento, Cabral, and of course Mendes, what they can do as individuals trying to catch them out. So pray is the main word here. Pray.
I also want to say that their coach is probably the only one in this tournament that goes by one name. His name is Bubista. And I have plenty of time for that. That is amazing.
Seeing a lot of comments on YouTube, people are putting in some score predictions. They're quite ridiculous.
What's the first one? What's the one?
10-0.
You're laughing,
this could be really lopsided.
This could be.
Vosinha's going to stand on his head. He's going to make it at least 9-0. It's not going to be 10. He's not going to get double digits.
We're talking about predictions and bets. Let's bring in Buckets, because he's got some bets for us.
Buckets is on fire right now.
Buckets is doing really well. Yesterday, you said Germany are going to win 7-1, and that was the correct score. So you're doing really well, Buckets.
I mean, he was
doing
really
but
well.
The problem is now everyone expects me to give another correct score prediction for the Spain game. So it's going to be a little bit messy.
Great.
I'm hearing myself twice, so bear with me. This is going to be pretty tough.
Oh, okay.
Can you guys still hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you, Buckets. Buckets, just go for it, man.
Yeah, let me just fly through this. Sorry about that, guys. I do have 2 bets for this game, and I also agree that we are trying to pray for this Cabo Verde side. First bet is an exact copy-paste of what I did for this Germany matchup. It is Spain to score 2 or more goals in the first half. We're getting that at even money. This is the kind of game where you don't want to overthink this at all. Spain are the better team. The question is not can they win, it is how much do they want to win by. I think Spain start off early here, picking up 2 quick goals and even money. And then bet number 2, I want to bet Oyarzabal. I want to say that he's going to have a great game. He probably will, but him to score right now is minus 300, and that is terrible odds when you're betting a goal scorer. But Ferran Torres is still playable at minus 115 as an anytime goal scorer. I think he might end up getting a brace or potentially a hat trick here. My score prediction for this game is 6-1, and if you're going to get 6 goals, you got to believe that at least one of them's going to come from Torres in the form he's in. So I'm expecting a big Spain victory here, but I'm expecting both these bets to hit pretty early on in this one.
Boys, do you like that, Jimmy?
Yeah, I like those bets. I love that you actually gave Cabo Verde a chance by giving them a goal. Maybe we'll see a little Curacao magic against Germany. So I don't know if they're going to find a way to do it.
They'll pull the Curacao.
Is there, I don't know betting very much, is there a bet, an over-under for the number of completed passes? Because I feel like this is like, today's like a 600 or 700 pass day for Spain. Again, I don't know if there is one, but whatever it is, I'd go the over.
It's funny you ask that. There are books that give you pass options and completed pass options. They have removed it for the Spain game, coincidentally. So I'm expecting that they kind of caught on to you there, Tony, and they didn't want to have to mess with any of that.
Okay, then, Buckets, thank you very much for joining us. We'll see if that scoreline stays true in the game today.
Yep, I'm going with that 6-1 that pays at 3,200. I know that someone said 10-0 in the comment earlier. That pays 120 to 1 if this ends 10-0. So maybe worth the sprinkle.
Wow. Maybe worth a sprinkle.
Not bad. I love the sprinkle shout.
No, I love that. Maybe worth the sprinkle. Love that.
Thanks, Buckets.
Okay, thank you very much, Buckets. See you soon. Everybody, time for a quick break here on Morning Footy. We've got much more 48 Nations coming up on the other side.
At the start of every year, I find myself wondering again, constantly questioning life's mysteries. Could I make it in the UFC octagon?
When Jeff Probst asks survivors, ready?
Do they ever want to say no? Has Dexter ever considered meditation? Will Beth and Rip make it last on the new series Dutton Ranch? If not, Rip, call me. Stream new series and returning favorites, plus huge events. It's going to be the biggest year yet.
Welcome to the Running Man. The rules are simple. Survive 30 days. But the entire nation is hunting you down.
The grand prize, $1 billion.
Win this game. Change your family's life forever.
Hunt him down!
People will sell you out in a heartbeat.
What is happening?
Welcome to the Running Man.
I'm back. I'm really back.
Why am I here? I'm not dead, right?
Disruption on this campus will not be tolerated.
If I look crazy, it's because that's how I feel. I don't know how to live in 2 worlds.
There are others. But they're not like us. We need to get out of here now. Open your eyes.
Paramount Plus has a mountain of movies. Wow. New movies. Timeless movies. Guys who are running out of time movies. So get in on the latest blockbusters.
Trust me.
And relive the moments that get you every time.
And that's all I have to say about that.
A mountain of movies, now streaming on Paramount Plus.
This is European soccer's biggest stage.
Written in the stars! What a difference she has made!
The question is, can you handle it?
Tell me, can you handle it?
The crowd here feels electric. Stream every match of the UEFA Women's Champions League on Paramount Plus.
I lost my dad and my aunt.
What aren't you telling me?
I'll never know what you've gone through, but I'm sure your dad will want you to be happy.
I will not lose the company that my husband started. I want success. Get it for me.
This business will bleed you dry.
Dad, I'm playing on the house's money now.
No, you're playing with the devil's money.
What's the plan here?
Gonna blow! Yeah, well, I'm just getting started.
Landman. All episodes now streaming only on Paramount Plus.
Welcome back to Morning Footy, 48 Nations. Time for our trivia question of the day. So, Spain has a chance to win the Euros and World Cup in succession for the second time. Who was the first team to do so in the early 1970s? So we aren't going to be revealing the answer just yet, so you've got some time to think, boys. And then we'll get back to the answer. But for now, we're going to be shifting gears to Nico Cantor because he's officially begun his road trip, travelling coast to coast during this World Cup. So he's got 41 consecutive days on the road. He's going to all 11 host cities in the US. He's going to be going to at least 15 matches also, and that's a route that will be covering over 11,000 miles. So he started his trip in California, and he's currently en route to Seattle. We're going to be taking a look at his best moments. He's been posting all over social media. Yesterday, he took a hike on day 4 of 41. And I think this was during the Germany games. He's left for 15 minutes and he missed out on so many German goals. He's been giving some people mate on his trails in California. He's just a man of the people, isn't he, Nico Cantor? And then finally, he was watching the Curacao game. And this was their reaction when they got their first goal. Ah, that's nice, isn't it, boys? Little set up cameras in the RV, capturing the moments.
Oh, he looks great in his pajamas.
Yeah, I don't know if he's in his pyjamas. That might be his normal day-to-day attire. We are going to be bringing him in now to Morning Footy. Nico, lovely to see you. How's it all going? So you're on the road right now, currently travelling to Seattle, is that right?
Yeah, so the game kicks off at noon here. Belgium, Egypt. Lovely to see you guys. And we're trying to bring you more content. So we should be there in about an hour's time. We get to see Mo Salah and KDB in 3.5 hours.
Nico, I love the logistics. First of all, it's so good to see the RV actually in transition because I feel like a lot of the times we've done these, you've been static or stationary somewhere. But I want to know the questions about you. How are you maintaining the perfect haircut? Beard still looks good. And who's the actual driver? Can I see the driver, please? Who's the actual driver of the RV?
No, so we can't. The driver of the RV, JD and Tom, they've been holding it down. They are the real MVPs, let me tell you. I mean, I've been able to sleep here while they drive. That's how smooth it's been. But you got to access, you got to get out of the door and go find them up front. It's like a different compartment of the RV. So much so that sometimes we need to make like early hour moves, right? Like we're off on the road like at 5 a.m. Today. The bus left like at 5:15. And that half an hour of getting up from the hotel, getting into the RV and going, it's like, no. I slept on the RV today because that half hour kills you, you know, like your circadian rhythm is broken. So I said, you know what? Tonight I'm sleeping on the RV as it should be. I showered in the hotel, came back here in the RV, and I slept here all night, woke up like an hour ago. I'm making my mate, it's ready to go, and ready to watch some football in a little bit.
Okay, so let's talk about the game. Belgium versus Egypt. Nico, and great to see you as always, and you're looking fresh despite these travels. What are you expecting crowd-wise in Seattle at Lumen Field? Are we expecting big numbers and the energy for Belgium and Egypt?
Listen, I do think we can expect numbers. It's teams that have pretty big names. And whoever, if these fans don't fill it, expect a lot of local people. The beauty of this World Cup that I've realized, and it's a question that I haven't really asked people at World Cups, is this your first World Cup game? And most people say yes. So even if it's people in Seattle, neutrals that are soccer lovers, they will be going to this game. You don't need to be Belgian. You don't need to be Egyptian. A lot of people have an opportunity to go to their first ever World Cup game because usually, like in Qatar, you know, you travel with Argentina fans or with US fans. And sometimes you think, all right, if you're traveling this far, I feel like you're a seasoned pro at supporting your national team. And Now the fact that it's in our backyard, that you get to sleep at your own house and get to go to a World Cup game, that's what I didn't realize makes this so special for Americans. It's at home. So many people in this country, especially the younger generation, will be able to experience their first ever World Cup game. So I would think a lot of fans from the Seattle Sounders that perhaps aren't Belgian or Egyptian. We'll see. And you got to throw in your Mexicans as well. We were like in Levi Stadium in San Francisco Bay Area, in Santa Clara. And if you weren't Qatari, you weren't Swiss, it probably felt like a Mexico home game because there were a lot of Mexicans going to those games.
Nico, I want to get your thoughts on this game and who you're looking forward to seeing today live. But I think you said before you left you had never been to the Pacific Northwest. Is that right? What are you?
First time in Cascadia.
Yeah. What do you got planned? What are you looking forward to?
So in Seattle, we're doing a whole bunch of stuff. We stopped yesterday in Portland, but just to stop by, we weren't doing anything touristy. So in Seattle, we have a whole bunch of stuff planned. We're actually going to get out of the city for something special. So tune in, and you'll find out. We're going to meet some Irani fans later today. We're going to be watching the Argentina game at a watch party later on. We're going to go to a local fish market, do a lot of the quintessential Seattle stuff. I've never done it, so I'm looking forward to it. And then it all ends with the U.S. game on Friday. And hopefully we can be part of a march with the fans. And then after that, it's our longest drive of the trip. We're going from Seattle all the way to Kansas City. I think it's like an 18-hour drive.
Oh, wow.
Gosh.
Yeah, that's going to be a fun one. I expect a lot of good content.
Dallas is where we're going.
Even longer, to be honest.
I mean, how much content can I give you cooped up in this RV? I'm gonna be watching so much football. So maybe we get some interesting results.
Tony's got some chaps you can borrow if you want to throw in some different content. All right, so let's talk about this game in particular. We got Belgium, right, kind of coming to the end of their golden generation with Lukaku, Kevin De Bruyne in particular, but they've got a young player in Jeremy Doku who could kind of refresh that in some capacity. But then obviously on the Egyptian side, you got Mo Salah, who's probably towards the end of his international career as well. I mean, is Doku the standout for you? Because he absolutely cooked against the U.S.
So, Jimmy, I actually saw Belgium very recently in a friendly against Croatia in Rijeka, in a stadium that was like 8,000 people. So I got to really see Belgium up close. I would say that they're past their golden generation. The golden generation, as we know it, is over. I think that the last proper golden generation was in 2022. There are remnants of that team, yes, with a Lukaku, who, by the way, in that friendly against Croatia came off the bench. Some projected lineups don't have him in the 11. There's a lot of new faces. And like you do mention, Doku, I think he is the most dangerous player. He made the U.S. look silly. Frankly, he's made anybody look silly. And you talk about timing, the run-in, that City obviously doesn't end up on top in the Premier League, but Jeremy Doku was the main reason City stayed alive in that run-in for so long. He was putting people on skates. He's dynamic. He's shifty. You don't know where he's going to go. He is a special player, and he could have a breakout tournament this season. So I'm curious to see how the Egyptian right back is going to deal with him today.
Yeah, so Nico, we've got Belgium-Egypt today, but we can see behind you on your whiteboard you've wrote goodbye Sabri Lamouchi. I'd love to get your thoughts on him set to be sacked by Tunisia.
Crazy, no?
Yeah.
Crazy. Manager sacked in the middle of the World Cup. Like, the last thing that I remotely remember kind of like this was Lopetegui being sacked, but that was not for football reasons. That's because in the 2018 World Cup, Julen Lopetegui, manager of Spain, got sacked before Spain started their World Cup run because Real Madrid had announced him as their manager at the other side of the World Cup. Togo might have fired their manager in 2006, right before. I mean, at the AFCON that Ivory Coast ends up winning, they sacked their manager at the end of their group stage where they finished third, and then they hire Emers Faye, who's the manager now, and they go on to win it. But at the World Cup, you'd have to go back. This is big breaking news. I want to see the Tunisian perspective of this. People are saying, for at least from what I was reading online, that his team was unbalanced. Losing like this to Sweden was bad. So I don't know. This is particular. I took inspiration from Jimmy's background, what he has at home.
I love that.
Nice little note in the background.
Yes, goodbye, Sabri Lamucci. So how long you got left on your drive currently?
I don't know. Let's look it up. Bear with me 1 second.
He's not a sat-nav, Hannah, is he?
Well, I just thought you're on an RV. You might know how long you got left. Let's see what he's going to say.
You always gotta add on the longer drives like an hour. So we got 22 minutes to the hotel that we're staying at, but we're not going to the hotel. We're going straight to Lumen Field. What's it called? It must be called like Seattle Stadium. That is a 15-minute drive. Oh, wow.
Getting close.
Close.
And Nico, you said you slept on the
Very
RV
close.
last night. How was the actual sleep? Was the bed all right?
The bed's all right. So there's a total of 9 beds, some that we're using for storage, but there's like a compartment that gets so nice and cold, and you could just sneak. They're bunks. There are 3 bunks and 3 bunks, and it's like blackout. It's a better blackout than my apartment in New York. It's a better blackout than any of the beds that I've ever had in any of the houses that I've lived in my entire life. So you get a nice little curtain. You shut the curtain, and
you didn't feel claustrophobic at all?
At all.
Oh, no.
At all. I want to, one of these days, I want to try the highest bunk, because the highest bunk is, I heard, that's the one that gets less movement. The one on the bottom, you're probably so close to the road here.
Oh, yeah, I can imagine. He froze when he was doing that face.
Yeah, I got the middle bunk, so.
All right then, Nico.
Not bad. I mean, imagine like a really good first-class lay flat bed.
Lovely. All right then, perfect. Well, enjoy the drive, enjoy the game, and we'll speak to you tomorrow.
Oh, one more thing. I found Jimmy's ID as I was going into the north of California. So I gotta get it back.
What is even happening? Come on, I'm not that hairy.
Interstate driver.
They said he. Yeah, they said you were around here kicking people. They might have spotted you.
All right. The gauntlet's been thrown down. I'm going to remember that.
That's a funny one.
Yeah. They got the height right, though, 6'2".
That's right.
They got the height right.
Okay then, Nico, thank you very much. We'll see you soon. Enjoy the game.
Bye, guys.
Okay, then, everybody. Time for a quick break here on Morning Footy 48 Nations. Do stay with us, everyone. We've got so much more coming up on the other side.
At the start of every year, I find myself wondering again, constantly questioning life's mysteries. Could I make it in the UFC octagon?
When Jeff Probst asks survivors, ready?
Do they ever want to say no? Has Dexter ever considered meditation? Will Beth and Rip make it last on the new series Dutton Ranch? If not, Rip, call me. Stream new series and returning favorites, plus huge events. It's going to be the biggest year yet.
Welcome to the Running Man. The rules are simple. Survive 30 days. But the entire nation is hunting you down.
The grand prize, $1 billion.
Win this game. Change your family's life forever.
Hunt him down!
People will sell you out in a heartbeat.
What is happening?
Welcome to the Running Man.
I'm back. I'm really back.
Why am I here? I'm not dead, right?
Disruption on this campus will not be tolerated.
If I look crazy, it's because that's how I feel. I don't know how to live in 2 worlds.
There are others, but they're not like us. We need to get out of here now.
Open your eyes.
Paramount Plus has a mountain of movies. Wow. New movies. Timeless movies. Guys who are running out of time movies. So get in on the latest blockbusters.
Trust me.
And relive the moments that get you every time.
And that's all I have to say about that.
A mountain of movies, now streaming on Paramount Plus.
This is European soccer's biggest stage.
Written in the stars! What a difference she has made!
The question is, can you handle it?
Can you handle it?
The crowd here feels electric. Stream every match of the UEFA Women's Champions League on Paramount Plus.
I lost my dad and my aunt.
What aren't you telling me?
I'll never know what you've gone through, but I'm sure your dad will want you to be happy.
I will not lose the company that my husband started. I want success. Get it for me.
This business will bleed you dry.
Dad, I'm playing on the house's money now.
No, you're playing with the devil's money. What's the plan here?
Gonna blow!
Yeah, well, I'm just getting started.
Landman. All episodes now streaming only on Paramount Plus.
Welcome back to Morning Footy, everybody. So time to revisit our Morning Footy trivia. Today's question was, Spain has a chance to win the Euros and World Cup in succession for the second time. Who was the first team to do so in the early 1970s? Got any guesses, boys?
I think we guessed the same thing.
Germany. That would be my guess.
Yeah, I think Germany, West Germany is probably
There we
behind
go.
you.
West Germany.
We are smart.
You are just so
I
clever.
feel like that one was a little bit rigged because Germany was just dominant during that period. So
Yeah, Beckenbauer.
yeah.
Well, you did get it right,
Franz
correct.
Beckenbauer.
West Germany, then, everybody, was the answer.
Get harder with your trivia questions, team. God.
They are very difficult. OK, everyone, time for a quick break here. We've got much more on the other side. See you there.
At the start of every year, I find myself wondering again, constantly questioning life's mysteries. Could I make it in the UFC octagon?
When Jeff Probst asks survivors, ready?
Do they ever want to say no? Has Dexter ever considered meditation? Will Beth and Rip make it last on the new series Dutton Rank? If not, Rip, call me. Stream new series and returning favorites, plus huge events. It's going to be the biggest year yet.
Welcome to the Running Man. The rules are simple. Survive 30 days, but the entire nation is hunting you down.
The grand prize, $1 billion!
Win this game. Change your family's life forever.
Hunt him down!
People will sell you out in a heartbeat.
What is happening?
Welcome to the Running Man.
I'm back. I'm really back.
Why am I here? I'm not dead, right?
Disruption on this campus will not be tolerated.
If I look crazy, it's because that's how I feel. I don't know how to live in two worlds.
There are others. But they're not like us. We need to get out of here. Now. Open your eyes.
Paramount Plus has a mountain of movies. Wow. New movies. Timeless movies. Guys who are running out of time movies. So get in on the latest blockbusters.
Trust me.
And relive the moments that get you every time.
And that's all I have to say about that.
A mountain of movies, now streaming on Paramount Plus.
This is European soccer's biggest stage.
Written in the stars! What a difference she has made!
The question is, can you handle it?
Can you handle it?
The crowd here feels electric. Stream every match of the UEFA Women's Champions League on Paramount Plus.
I lost my dad and my aunt.
What aren't you telling me?
I'll never know what you've gone through, but I'm sure your dad will want you to be happy.
I will not lose the company that my husband started. I want success. Get it for me.
This business will bleed you dry.
Dad, I'm playing on the house's money now.
No, you're playing with the devil's money. What's the plan here?
Gonna blow!
Yeah, well, I'm just getting started.
Landman. All episodes now streaming only on Paramount Plus.
Welcome back to Morning Footy, everyone. We're just 5 minutes away from seeing Cabo Verde make their World Cup debut. They're going to be playing against Spain, World Cup favourites this year. That's Group H in the 2026 World Cup. Okay, so we've got some socials, haven't we, Lisa?
H.
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 Which group
for all
is that?
those
Oh, yeah.
listening.
JD, how would you say it?
H.
Yeah, H. Well, okay.
They're at a different World Cup.
We got it. It's fine. We got it.
What did
We
they
love
say?
you.
They say
We
we're
love
doing
you,
it
Han.
wrong.
They say H, but it's H.
H.
I'm not going to call Trump here. What's the language called?
English.
Oh, okay.
Where we
All right, there has been a lot of fun stuff happening on social media. I mean, the cultural impact this World Cup is having on the United States has been tremendous. So this morning, this is in Atlanta, ahead of Spain, Cabo Verde. Look at these Spain fans. They're getting set for their march to the stadium. The party has already started early this morning. I mean, so cool to see the cheering, the chants, the singing, everyone coming together in this type of situation.
Why
Yeah,
do we know
JD.
this song? We know this song. Why do we sing this song? Where did we sing this song? We sang this song before.
It's in all football, isn't it?
No. All right, maybe not.
In Group H, they sing this.
Oh,
That's how they know it. That's how they know
I did
it.
this with Spanish fans. I was at the 2012 Euros in Poland, and they played Italy, and it was a great game, and I got to do this with them. It was really neat.
Yeah, super cool to see this march to the stadium as here they go, walking down the streets of Atlanta. And also, I mean, it wasn't just the Spain fans getting in on the action. It's the debutantes.
Hey,
Cabo Verde,
vibes.
huge
Now
for
we're
them.
talking.
Yeah.
Now we're talking vibes.
Yeah, big vibes to see these teams also on their walk to the stadium because that match is happening now.
Yeah, 5 minutes.
Exciting.
Yeah, lovely scenes from all the fans. Cabo Verde making their debut in the World Cup. Everybody, we're just getting started here on the Golazo Network. Do stay with us. We've got much more Morning Footy, 48 Nations coming up on the other side.
At the start of every year, I find myself wondering again, constantly questioning life's mysteries.